But it's
Well, how many cameras are there?
just three.
I was just trying to think about what
We just need different angles and stuff.
Okay.
Catch my drift.
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
I'm fucking nervous. This is ridiculous. Since I was a child, since about the age of 5, I've had a real problem being on my own. Being at home, I've always had to have a family member close to me. I mean, not for any particular reason, just I get anxious, shaky, my heart rate increases. If I know that I haven't got someone with me.
We all, to a certain degree, have a fear of being alone. As a species, we need human contact and we thrive on it. It shapes our perception of the world and ourselves. Monophobia is when what is usually an unconscious desire becomes conscious. It becomes overwhelming, controlling and significantly impacting quality of life. Monophobia can cause panic attacks that ironically isolate sufferers, keeping them apart from loved ones and work colleagues. Symptoms include shortness of breath, irregular heartbeat, sweating, nausea, and overall anxiety or dread. Although symptoms can obviously vary, these are the main signs that suggest a phobic reaction. The person with monophobia may also have obsessional or depressive symptoms, as well as those of anxiety.
When I'm left alone, I suffer from occasional anxiety attacks, and a constant feeling of dizziness begins to overwhelm me at times. My mouth becomes dry very quickly and I get very chapped lips, and I'll often wake up drenched in sweat after real, vivid nightmares. When I start shaking, it feels like the whole world is shaking around me, and even when I'm with family, the thought of leaving them makes me feel nauseous. I can trace it back to one time when I was on the London Underground with my mother, and I got separated from her only for about 5 minutes, but I can remember how terrified I was in those 5 minutes. There was another time, a couple of years later, when she was hospitalised for a few weeks, and I was put in the care of my aunt. And being away from my mother, for the first time properly, absolutely terrified me.
In treating monophobia, it's important to examine the reasons for this fear. For instance, a person suffering from monophobia could have been abandoned at some point in their life and associates being alone with being unloved. I would recommend cognitive behavioural therapy in treating this phobia. The statistics are good. 75% of people overcome this through therapy by confronting the fear in a safe environment. People can become desensitised to the fear of being alone.
I'm seeing a psychologist at the moment who's put me on medication, and I think I'm beginning to see results, but it's hard to say at this stage.
To try and further understand what it's like to be monophobic, we carried out an experiment where we each spent the duration of 24 hours alone in complete isolation, without any indulgences or communications with people whatsoever.
Monophobia. Towards the end of it, I felt really alone, so I kind of watched a squirrel out my window for an hour.
I enjoyed it. It gave me a chance to do other things that I wouldn't normally do.
I didn't particularly like this experiment. I just felt that I had too much time to think.
I wasn't really too fazed by it, to be honest. I was just a bit bored, if anything. Didn't really mind being on my own, though.
But yeah, I'm feeling a little bit more positive, and I think I'm beginning to see a light at the end of the tunnel.